got a decent sample size of preseason games in our belt now, in our arsenal, to go be making the best selections in your 2025 fantasy football redraft leagues, best ball leagues, all of the above. Let's go win you a league. We got 6 names today that are all guys that I think are now the best projectable breakout players for this year. You can grab them at a discount. Most of them, except for probably this first name. This guy's been soaring up the ADP. Smash the like and subscribe button. Please, it helps the channel out. And if you want to see more, make sure you do that. First name, Mr. Touchdown Kick Returner himself, TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson has an ADP of 44, and it seems like it's just rising and rising. He has a touchdown on a kickoff. He has a touchdown on the ground. He's looked explosive. He's looked like he's juiced. He looks quick. He looks quicker than you would expect for a big-bodied running back. Now, his competition is Ramondre Stevenson. What I was saying earlier in the season was, listen, Ramondre Stevenson ain't nobody to scuff at. Oh, man, like Ramondre, he will have a role. Ramondre is getting paid a decent chunk of change. Ramondre, he averaged 12 points per game in the last 2 years. So you could say to yourself, this is going to be a true 50-50 backfield. That's what I was telling myself until I saw the juice, until I saw what TreVeyon Henderson could totally showcase and put on display. And now, in my own redraft league I care most about, where I get clowned on my buddies if I'm losing, I took TreVeyon Henderson in round 3. Now, granted, it's a keeper league, so round 3 really is round 4 where he's currently priced, but I have no problem taking him there. I took him ahead of Kamara. And now, the reason I did that is because TreVeyon Henderson, I think the Patriots offense can't be worse than what it was the first half of last year. I think the Patriots offense is going to take a step forward in Drake May's second year in the league. You got Stephon Diggs coming in there. Either way, the reason I like TreVeyon Henderson is in PPR formats, this guy is going to be a monster in the receiving game. Even if Ramondre is a pest, which he will be, I think TreVeyon's going to have the better role. Now, if he's third down only, the Patriots are tanking with number 1, so that's just like a skill issue. It's a potential range of outcome for sure. But if TreVeyon Henderson is getting the goal line work and the third down work, at least passing work, I think he's going to be the number 1 candidate for goal line opportunities and receiving usage. So I really, really like him here in round 4, even as high as he's going. Next name is somebody we've been talking about a lot all season long, and I haven't changed my mind. Calvin Ridley comes out with Cam Ward, and he shows that Calvin Ridley is just already, immediately, Cam Ward's favorite target. Looking at what Calvin Ridley's done in the past, in 2020, don't forget he averaged almost 19 points per game, was the wide receiver 4 finisher, and then since that, we've never seen him be the same after he decided to get injured in 2021, and then gamble his life away, and then he bounced back, but not in a big way on a bad offense both of those years. So last year he had Mason Rudolph at quarterback, don't forget that. And even with Mason Rudolph at quarterback, he had a 1.9 yards per out run and a 24% target share. They bring in Alik Almanor, they bring in Tyler Lockett, they bring in some other bums. Bums. That's the name of the game. Calvin Ridley is still the alpha number 1. Calvin Ridley is showing a strong rapport with Cam Ward. And Cam Ward, I'm not saying he's insane, but as the number 1 pick, he's a heck of a lot more accurate than Mason Rudolph and should be better. So Calvin Ridley projects out to be somebody where, listen, you're taking him as ADP. He's currently 55. You're taking him in round 6 of your draft. I do think Calvin Ridley can return value, can return upside. He's probably getting drafted as the wide receiver 28. You're basically taking him at his floor. I think there's a chance we see a top 15 finish from Mr. Calvin. Similar story here with Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, if I go like this, wow, Jalen Waddle is giving you 15 points per game. How is that even possible that over 3 seasons, 2024, he gave you 9 points per game, and it was not pretty. It was really, really bad. People that told Jalen Waddle were in shambles. Again, no quarterback. Tua, brain was mush. You had absolutely no quarterback. Now, you could be saying to yourself, what if Tua's gone again? And that's the risk. That is the risk with Jalen Waddle. But if Tua is healthy, guess what? Jonnu Smith is gone. Jalen Waddle could be the 1A over an aging Tyreek Hill, over a Tyreek Hill that's requesting trades, over a Tyreek Hill where Tua is saying Tyreek Hill needs to buy back in to earn our respect, etc., etc. Jalen Waddle could easily average 16 plus points per game this season, and he's flying under the radar, currently going around wide receiver 30 in price with an ADP of 57. It's a great pick. I think you're getting a wide receiver 1 on a good offense. You got Ricky Pearsall coming in now. Now, Ricky Pearsall, I feel like his price has dropped. He's currently ADP of 99. Now, the reason I like Ricky Pearsall, Sticky Ricky, is because of what I'm seeing in preseason and the buzz. So Debo Samuel's gone. Jawan Jennings is banged up. Brandon Ayuk is going to be out till week 6. That leaves Ricky Pearsall as the one guy. Now, you can't even look at his stats in 2024 because he was, obviously shot. In the preseason, 3 catches, 30-plus yards for Brock Purdy. When he was running with the ones, he's obviously the number 1 receiver because everyone else is hurt. And he showed a pretty strong rapport. So besides Kittle, besides CMC, Jawan Jennings, is he even like insane when he's healthy? I'm going to say no. So until Brandon Ayuk comes back, I think Ricky Pearsall has a very strong chance of breaking out the first 6 weeks of the year. Now, if Ricky Pearsall does nothing the first 6 weeks of the year, when Brandon Ayuk comes back, you'll pretty much know, you'll know sooner rather than later with Ricky whether or not he's going to be very good. Now, usually you don't say that with guys that are year 2. You say, oh, it'll take longer for him to develop. I think we'll get very good clarity on Sticky Ricky's role in the offense early on, and I think he'll be out there for definitely not 50% of the snaps. I think he'll be out there for probably closer to 95, which we saw in the final week of the season last year. Again, final 2 weeks last year, 29 points, 19 points. I think he's got a good-looking season, and his ADP is 100. Not too shabby. 2 names left, Tyler Warren. Now, don't be deceived. Tyler Warren has an ADP of 125. It's cap. Tyler Warren's ADP is probably closer to 80, 85, 90. This guy is not going to make it outside of round 8 in your draft. If you think he is, unfortunately, you're mistaken. I'm pretty sure Tyler Warren got taken with the first pick in round 7 in my draft that I care most about, full of experts, right? So Tyler Warren, he looks really, really good in preseason. He looks really, really good from the news coming out of camp. And he quite simply is just, I feel like he's going to have a smash type season. He's honestly my tight end 4 in my rankings. Tight end 5 behind Laporta. Or probably tight end 6. We'll put Hockenson ahead of him. But after TJ Hockenson, I do think Tyler Warren is the next best tight end. Number 6 in our sleepers video is going to be Zach Charbonnet. Now, the reason I like Zach Charbonnet is because Kenneth Walker is somebody I'm fading. You have to take a stance here. You have to either choose Kenneth Walker and his health or Zach Charbonnet as the handcuff. Kenneth Walker's going with an ADP around 40. Charbonnet is an ADP of 131. Now, Charbonnet is a high draft capital pick. I think he was a second-round pick. He's got 11 points per game in 2024. But if we look at that, it's really just coming from the weeks where Kenneth Walker was banged up. You can see 26 points per game, points right here in week 3, 18 points in week 2. The snap share was 96 and 90. And in week 14, 80% snap share. 80%. When this guy gets the full usage, he averaged around 25 points per game. If we get a Walker injury, which it's likely, I don't want to wish a bad fate or guess a bad fate on anybody. Looking at Kenneth Walker and his career, 15 games, 11 games. Now, Kenneth Walker is a contract year, which I think is a bad thing for Charbonnet because Kenneth Walker's going to be more motivated. I think from what I saw in preseason, Charbonnet looked good. He looked real, real good. I already knew that. But I think Charbonnet could just take work from Walker, even if Walker stays healthy. So keep Charbonnet on your radar. Keep all 6 of these guys on your radar. 6 names, 6 breakouts, high upside. Pretty low cost. Smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.